Last year, JoyNews Upper East correspondent Albert Sori told the story of the Aganda primary school at Kadiga in the region. At the time, the children were virtually studying in the hot sun. Following that report, the mud classroom structure where the pupils were sprawling was roofed for them as a new classroom block is put up. With a change in government, however, work on the new block, which is about 70% complete, has stalled, leaving the children with the precarious situation in the old mud structure, which is near collapsed. Here is Albert Sori again with another visit to Aganda Primary School.
A roofless four-room mud structure with cracked walls and children sitting on the bare ground for lessons. This was the situation at the Aganda Primary School during my last visit. Today, I returned to this school located in the Katsina-Nankana West District to find out if anything has changed since JoyNews first aired the story in February last year. I find that the structure has now been roofed, although in a rather patchy fashion. Everything else here at the Aganda Primary School remains same as it was last year, if not worse. School has just reopened and many of the children have not reported to school yet. But the few children in classes 1 and 2 are sitting on pieces of blocks for lessons, just like I saw during my last visit. The cracks on the walls of this mud structure are getting deeper, worse than last year. But even more disturbing is something I see now which was missing last year. Fresh animal dung littered in the classrooms where these little children gather to acquire knowledge. Gilbert Atanga is headmaster of the Aganda Primary School.
And let me use this opportunity to thank the staff of JoyNews for having come here the last time to give a vivid reportage about the situation in this school. I think it has taken this as far as the development of the school is concerned. The roofing, you can still see that our doors are ajar. When it is raining or when there's threat of windstorm, what I simply do is to close down the school. Because you cannot tell, this is still a death trap. It's only half a loaf. The problem still exists as far as furniture is concerned, as far as the classrooms are concerned. You see that the nature of the classroom is not good. The PTA and the SMC has been of help, but this is the best they can do. The thing is only government's intervention that can help address the situation.
Away from this mud structure is a new concrete classroom block. The building is finished and roofed, and the outstanding work borders more on fittings. But the headmaster tells JoyNews work on the building, which started in November last year, stopped in January this year.
And I operate my office from a house, which makes administration very difficult for me. Even the teachers have no sitting place. The children themselves have no sitting place. That is not even much a problem. If the structure was completed, where we can comfortably house our children here, for the purpose of safety, we would have been grateful than still lying on the dilapidated structure up there.
As this new building awaits completion, these little children will have to continue their school lessons in this dilapidated mud structure. The rainy season has just started, and already rainstorms have destroyed some schools in this district where Aganda Primary School is located. But with more rains ahead this season, this mud structure may not survive the harsh weather, and that would leave these pupils without a classroom. Hopefully, a plea from little Doris, one of the pupils here, will cause authorities to act.
We don't have classroom blocks. We don't have teachers. We don't have chairs and tables to sit. We don't have textbook. So we want the government to help us. That is to solve this program.
For JoyNews, Albert Sori, reporting from Kandiga.
Illegal miners at Manso Tanochrome and Datano in the Ashanti region are defying government's directive to suspend their operations. A month after the ban was extended, illegal miners in the two towns in the Amansia West districts continue with their activities. Community leaders are now looking up to government to act after a failed bid to restrain them. Here's Nanayao Jime's report.
The sale of farmlands for gold extraction has increased illegal mining activities at Tontochrome and nearby communities. The Komu River, the main source of drinking water, is now heavily polluted from mining activities. Commercial transport operators, including motorbike riders, popularly known as Okada, provide facilitation for the illegal miners. Though government's fight against the menace has seen reduced numbers, there are still defiant elements. The miners, who will not speak on record or camera, insist government must find alternatives for them before they leave. Assembly member for Tontochrome, Gabriel Malfo, believes only deployment of state security can flush the culprits out.
They have destroyed our water bodies here. We are now drinking from the boreholes government provided.
Young phone assembly dear, a high area dear, no question, and no dear, I say. But
our farms have been destroyed, but I will not blame these miners. We sold the farms ourselves to some Chinese nationals.
Assassin did my China phone, and assassin, a developer, and assassin, I say. It's another intimate fancy say, one more Jumano, and assassin, and the 100%.
We have had series of discussions with the miners, but they will not leave. Yes, I am now waiting on the security agencies to send them away.
Nanayao Jima reporting.
While still on this subject, Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners says its members will embark on a demonstration next Tuesday if government fails to lift the ban on small-scale mining in 3 days. The Ashanti Region chapter wants government to clearly distinguish between licensed small-scale miners and illegal miners, or face what they call an all-die-be-die protest. Deputy Executive Secretary Frank Osei told a news conference in Kumasi the ban has cost members their livelihood.
National executives, we've called all miners in this country, 8 regions. We are ready, we are on standby. If in 3 days, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, with all due respect, does not clear the airwaves, draw a distinction between illegal activities and small-scale miners, and we're still in the house, then we want to tell the government that we are ready to pay monitoring fees and their contribution to reclamation. This will create employment for people to monitor us that we're doing our job properly. Again, if this money is properly managed, they can get seedlings for farmers who are ready to go back to their lands and plant. We are ready to cooperate. Other than that, Nana will hit the street. Ubekuya preko. Na aya ekomba kumedia ene be fi say me wu preko aya
Away from mining, the medical director of the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Thomas Anaba, is challenging a directive by the health minister to transfer him from the facility, saying he has no such power. The directive asking the medical director to return to his previous post in Tamale in the northern region comes days after the hospital opened to the public. Mr. Anaba, however, says he has no plans of leaving office and has vowed to fight the decision as far as the courts. Hannah Odame came through with this report after a conversation with him.
This is not the first time Dr. Thomas Anaba is encountering challenges with his appointment. Workers of the hospital in January 2016 protested when he was named successor to Dr. Emmanuel Obingapuri, the then medical director. Dr. Anaba, however, says the protests were instigated by Dr. Emmanuel Sofenyo, who he says was also interested in the job.
It was from Dr. Sofenyo and a few staff.
You have evidence for
that? Oh, yeah, no. He petitioned the president
He petitioned the then president, or you were not aware of that?
So you think that is he part of this?
He has been appointed conspiracy now. He has been appointed now.
To sit in your stead?
To sit in my place.
1.5 years into his tenure, Dr. Anaba is being asked to make way for Dr. Emmanuel Sofenyo. He, however, says the health minister who issued the directive has no such power to determine who heads which health facility.
It is illegal. It's power drunk. It's unfair. It is humiliating. Because the letter doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Exactly? Because you can't just tell somebody you are restructuring the hospital. He may be competent somewhere, but he himself said it that he's not very good in health. He knows nothing about health.
So how exactly would you want this to be done?
Rescind his decision.
Why?
Because it's not correct.
So until that you're not moving and
why should I move? Why should I obey an illegal, flooded administrative letter?
One other reason Dr. Anaba says has been cited for his removal is that the contractors have questioned his competence to manage the brand new hospital.
The sad thing is that the minister is relying on Bouygues, that the Bouygues company indicated that I'm not competent to manage the place, so he should remove me.
Dr. Anaba says he has already instructed his lawyers to ensure the health minister withdraws his directive and an apology issued for what he says are lapses.
Why? But we have written a letter to them to respond. Yeah.
From your lawyers?
Yes.
What exactly do you want from them?
To reverse his decision.
So that you stay on?
Yes.
Or which of them? So that you stay on?
So I stay on.
Or to go to UDS?
He should reverse the decision and apologize that he erred to Ghanaian people.
Meanwhile, Dr. Sofenyo, who until his appointment as medical director was head of clinical services, is waiting to take up his new post. Meaning that until Dr. Anaba backs down or Dr. Sofenyo is reassigned, the Greater Accra Regional Hospital will have 2 rival medical directors. For JoyNews, my name is Hannah Odame.
The West African Network for Peace Building is warning against an immediate disbandment of politically affiliated vigilante groups without redirecting their energies and skills. Drawing on the Nigerian experience with Boko Haram, Executive Director of the organization, Chukwuemeka Eze, said aside targeting those who empower them, members of such groups will redirect their acquired skills and expertise into social vices if disbanded without a reconstruction of their mindsets. Chukwuemeka Eze was speaking on The Pulse on Thursday.
The cycle is broken when the group is so sophisticated that they turn and become the enemy of those who empower them. That's the way the cycle is broken. Today, those who armed the initial group of the youths that later transformed itself to Boko Haram are the targets of Boko Haram. And I don't think that that's the cycle. And that's the direction that Ghana wants to go. So at the moment, they seem very comfortable. Everybody is enjoying. But at the end of the day, the groups are developing skills. The question we want to throw back to the politicians is, what kind of skills are they developing? They are developing the skills of violence. They are demonstrating the skills of the use of arms and ammunition. Now, let's assume it gets to a point when everybody now have confidence in the state. What kind of transfer of skills will they have? The politicians have hobnobbed with a group they should not ab initio have hobnobbed with. But let's not also disband totally without reinventing, so that we don't create a menace for the society. So the politicians need to quickly think across party lines, because this is not a government of the day's problem. The opposition, the current opposition, had the same type of group. So it cuts across all the political actors. So my advice is that they need to sit down and reinvent this group. What are they capable of doing other than what they are doing at the moment? We need to strategically place them so, and then begin a deconstruction process of their mindsets. Otherwise, it will lead to a situation. And don't forget, we are in an era that nobody is sure of tomorrow. We are in era of violent extremism. We are in era of cyber crimes. We are in era of all piracy and all sorts of crime that exist out there. So if we don't reinvent them and say we have chased them away, they are now illegal, that may create further menace for the society, including the politicians themselves. But if we are strategic enough to reinvent their energy, probably we may be getting out of the woods.
And that will be it for the AM News.